Welcome back into Graham Leggett's for another edition of Park the Bus. Not sure if they come any bigger than this. Canada's Jonathan David.
Yeah.
What an intro.
People are listening to you guys.
The official trio of grumpiness.
I've listened to the podcast a few times, so yeah.
Countries in Europe kind of being like, oh, Canada.
It's the old stuff that we're all used to seeing.
No one's name is really written in pen as much as Stevie. Steve-O there wants to have it for his little TSN segment.
You know what? I'm just going to mess with them sometimes and say things off the wall.
Now he's doubling down.
I could see him being in Italy squad. Absolutely.
Get behind Canada.
You're watching Park the Bus with Stephen Caldwell, Kevin Kilbane and Luke Wileman. Welcome inside Graham Leggett's. Luke Wileman alongside Stephen Caldwell and Kevin Kilbane. We're at the end of 2025, but it's also the end of what has been the first 6 months of the Park the Bus podcast. So we thought it would be a good time to bring a little best of Park the Bus. There have been plenty of debates along the way. Fun times, yes. Some arguments as well.
Couple of arguments.
Usually involving this guy saying stuff that he
I don't start them.
Really.
I get asked a question and I listen to what's been asked of me and I try to answer it in the best way. So that's why I do it. Yeah.
To be fair, honesty usually gets him in trouble.
Yeah, it does. It does. He's an honest guy.
So over the course of the next 30 minutes, we'll look at some of the best bits of the show so far. We've had some guests along the way as well. Jesse Marsh was the first one that came on, and he's been on a couple of times now on Park the Bus, even at one point when he wasn't supposed to be.
Do you feel that CONCACAF are discriminating against Canada, that because Canada are becoming one of the big boys and competing consistently with Mexico and USA, that there's in a lot of places that have been kept down there?
So when I first took the job, when I met with all the guys, right, the guys who I thought were going to be the leaders, they said to me that they were excited to have me as the coach because they like the football and they think that with my experiences, that I bring things that can help the team. But they said also that they hope that then the profile of what the team is by having a higher profile coach can also help them gather more respect, right? And my response, honestly, at that point was like, well, if we keep getting results, then we'll keep earning that respect. You guys finished first in CONCACAF, blah, blah, blah. And now over a year, we've did the best of Copa America of any CONCACAF team. We won on the U.S. soil for 67 years. We've beat the U.S. twice. We have the highest FIFA ranking we ever have had. And I can see probably more than ever what those players were talking about, right? And so after the Mexico game, when for me it's a clear penalty and it's not even reviewed, it's scary to me. Yeah. It's scary. And so the only thing you're left with going is what's happening here.
I think the Tejan we saw in March in Nations League, the Tejan we saw in summer and Gold Cup and in the friendlies, I think is just the beginning of all the possibilities of what he can become.
Just to clarify then, Jesse, is he a lock for you for next summer then?
That sounds to me like he should be because Stevie doesn't have him locked in yet.
Be.
In race for the rosters.
He better be.
Steve,
Not yet.
He's
not
not
yet.
a lock.
Not yet. He's going to play a bit more games, in my opinion.
Look,
we're a bit listening to Jesse, I guess. Yeah.
He's in the 11.
Look,
He's got him in the 11. He just hasn't got him locked in yet. And I think that's just because in defence you're waiting to see.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 10 games.
But come on.
He's under pressure, Jesse.
He's first hat-trick of his career.
So people are listening to you guys because I did an interview last week and they were talking about you guys and picking the 11 and picking the squad. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to mess with them sometimes and say things off the wall just to make them have to think about what else to do.
I got to react to what you say, Jesse.
Jesse, can you hear us?
Yes.
You're coming on to tell us that we can't ask Tani El-Ueshi any serious questions now. Is that what it is?
Well, you got to get his name right first.
Yeah. Is that not right?
I'm in the wrong room? Oh, you guys are waiting for Tani.
2 weeks in a row, Jesse.
Yeah,
you're coming back for more.
I was like,
See you later.
See ya.
So Canada head coach Jesse Marsh, one of the guests that came on. We've had plenty of the players coming on as well. Yep. Jonathan David, Alistair Johnston joined us from Scotland. Dane St. Clair was one of two that came in studio. We had Richie Lorera, of course, as well. But one of the things I liked most about Dane St. Clair was the fact that you know, he'd obviously listened to the
Yeah,
podcast.
he had to go back at Kev.
He had to go back at Kev.
I didn't say it that way. I just think it was a debate. We were talking.
Goalkeepers debate.
You've always got to be open about what you're saying, back up what you've said, listen to the other side of the argument, and then you get on with things. It was a good suggestion from him. Yeah, it was nice to listen to him.
Here's a look at some of the players that have been on Park the Bus.
What about the way that it's been going for you personally, the Colombia game especially? Luke mentioned it there. Particularly late on, you made a couple of great saves. One save, I don't think.
Are you crediting me for that save, or did you say?
No, I tell you,
are you crediting me for it?
You never even seen it.
I can tell you something now. We're watching the game, right, and Stevie's calling the game, and he saw it straight off the bat, and it wasn't given. Stevie said, "What a save!" Straight off, he said, "What a save that was." And obviously, when it wasn't given, what's it like for a goalkeeper when the save's not credited to you when it's given as a goal?
Well, it's like, especially in that moment, you don't want to concede a corner that late on in the game. So it's like, of course, you want to be able to celebrate the moment, but at the same time, it's like if you know you kind of fouled someone, but you're not going to tell the ref, hey, I fouled the guy. You didn't play. You know what I mean? So I think for us, it's like, I looked at Rich and I said, you know, I touched that, right?
You have to tell him straight off. But you know, it was the Luis Diaz chance as well where you did well, where you kind of narrowed the angle and you put it wide. And, you know, two big moments late on in the game as well. They're the sort of defining moments that's going to get you over the line to be number one, I suppose, isn't it? And again, you reflect on at the end of the game and think, done my job now today. Obviously, clean sheets, the barometer, I think, for goalkeepers. But it's not necessarily always that way, is it?
For sure. I think you always want to be able to affect the game. And, of course, you always push for the clean sheet. But you also know some goals you can't do anything about. You know what I mean? So I think you always want to be able to save the ones that you know you fully can. And then you want to pull off one of those two that people aren't expecting. But I think the consistency, and a lot of people have talked about me not having the big moment for Canada. Yeah. But I think that's also been a credit as well, that you can be steadily consistent and the team performing. The amount of clean sheets I have, I think, has spoken for that as well, even though there hasn't been maybe one big moment that everyone is looking for.
Is that something Kev said? Did Kev say that?
What did I say?
I've listened to the podcast a few times, so yeah, maybe.
You can't
Listen to Part the Bus?
I do.
Oh, man. No. Do you feel the scrutiny that you're going to be under as a number 9 playing in that famous jersey? Do you feel that at all? Have you felt it from supporters since you've gone into Turin?
No, I wouldn't say from supporters too much, but I think when you come in right away, you know that this is a club that has a lot of pressure because you have to perform every weekend. You have to be the best. So I know that with that comes obviously scrutiny, and you know, as a player, I just try to do what I can and what I can control. Other things I just try to not focus on.
Do you ever get stressed? Does your heartbeat ever go above 90 beats per minute? Because I've known you for a few years now. I've worked with you. I've never seen you stressed. I'm trying to think of an occasion where I thought Jonathan's a little out of sync here. What stresses you? Does anything stress Jonathan David?
No, of course. I get stressed, but I think I just hide it well. I think even sometimes when I'm stressed, people just don't realize it, but I know I am. So for me, that's something I like a lot about myself.
You should play poker. You'd be a good poker player, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what, we're going to say that we had Jonathan David on a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him about his personal goals, and he said, I don't set them, which I always think about strikers having certain numbers in the head that they want to hit. You've got to double figures this year in the MLS. What do you think you can achieve playing in La Liga this season?
He's not going to give you a number.
Yeah, he has to. He's not going to give me a number, man, because strikers always have a number in the head. I know they do. I know they have a number.
I'd be lying if we said we probably don't all have a number. There's definitely a goal we set in our head, but you know, for me, it's a completely new league. It's a step up for me, and I think the biggest thing for me is getting comfortable, getting to a point where I know that I can hang with these guys.
There's a lot to look back on and be happy with, but there's also stuff that you can look back on. You look at the Gold Cup, and it's always a good humbler and reminder of what happens when you're not quite at it and you're not playing exactly how Jesse wants us to play. You can lose to anyone too. So it's a really nice kind of spot that we're at. It keeps everyone on our toes, and again, with the depth that we've built, no one's name is really written in pen as much as Stevie. Steve-O there wants to have it for his little TSN segment. I don't think any name is really written in pen.
It's easy when you're sitting in this seat, Ali. It's a bit more difficult when you're in your position.
Yeah, you know it.
But now you have a Canadian with Derek Cornelius making the move to Rangers. So did you talk to him about Glasgow and what it's like there? And now that there's a Canadian in there, do you have to secretly hope that Derek Cornelius and Rangers actually get a few results sooner or later?
Oh, what a question.
And don't spend the season fighting relegation.
Be careful how you answer this one.
Relegation threatened Rangers, I'll state that.
Yeah, no, I love DC, but there's not a single bone in my body that could ever pull for them. I'll tell you that much. But I texted him, and he was like, yeah, it looks like it's going to happen. Looking at places to live and all that. I said, okay, here we go. That'll add a little bit of extra spice for me to it. But trust me, I've heard and learned from other guys who have played between the Celtic and Rangers kind of dynamic that we have when national team teammates have, gone out for lunch or gone out for dinner, and that's gotten out. It has not been pretty. So I told him pretty quickly, like, look, I know Marseille's a serious club, but this is even crazier because you're sharing a wall. You're neighbors. You never know. You
so
just
you're
don't
friends,
know who
but
you're
you're
gonna be
not
walking
friends.
beside.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
We can't
Exactly
tell everybody that Derek Cornelius is actually just off camera staying in Ali's spare room right now.
Okay, hey, stay quiet.
Alistair Johnston, fantastic. So relaxed, always so engaging as well.
Yeah.
Derek Cornelius still living in Alistair Johnston's apartment, by the way.
In the basement.
We're not allowed to say anything, of course, about that. But, and also, I always like it when these players watch Stevie's race for the roster and call him out on his nonsense.
Well, this is getting pumped out so much on social media. So even if they're not able to watch it in full, which, of course, we always do, they're getting the clips. And they're getting that. Sometimes those clips are very leading, and it can be quite annoying for a player when Stevie's talking about
Annoying
them.
for me, I'll tell you that.
As we continue, not just Canadian guests we've had some international guests on the show as well. We'll look at them next. Over the course of the last 6 months, we've had some great international guests as well. None more so than probably one of Kevin's best friends and one of the Republic of Ireland's best ever goalkeepers, Shay Given, who joined us.
Yeah, the best ever goalkeeper, Ireland's best ever goalkeeper. When we put that out, it's getting a lot of arguments around Packy Bonner and Pat Jennings even. But I'm going with Shay. Shay's number one. A good friend of Stephen's as well, Luke, don't forget. Teammate of Stephen.
Well, Stevie was missing that week, wasn't he? Which is why Shay agreed to come on. But I think the most surprise was that he just had good things to say about goalkeepers.
Yeah, well, it's his favourite, isn't it?
But it was in the wake of Ireland qualifying for the playoffs to try and get into the World Cup.
What's it been like, Shay, the last few days in Ireland since Troy Parrott and that whole craziness?
Yeah, it's been special. I mean, it sort of brings us back, bring me back to my growing-up days in Ireland, supporting the Jack Charlton era. They had some special teams and special memories of qualifying for major finals, and we sort of lost that. We've sort of lost that interest in recent times with regards not qualifying, and the country was sort of, falling behind a wee bit with the feeling for the national team. But Troy Parrott, what he done and what the team done over the last week or so has been just unbelievable. Incredible, to score 5 goals in 2 huge games. The gap it's lifted the whole nation. It really has, and I think that's what football can do. I know there's other amazing sports in Ireland as well, but it just feels like when the football guys are playing, it's just crazy what happens. And we've given ourselves a chance of getting to the World Cup now.
How confident are you, Shay?
Well, it's amazing what a couple of results can do, after that sort of... I know it's true, isn't it? We all get excited, we all get carried away, but when Troy Parrott scored that last kick of the game in Hungary, you had told me who's going to win the World Cup after that, I would have said it's going to be Ireland. That's the feeling I had, because we're just going, this is meant to be. This is the dreams that we all want and have. And I believe we can do it. Czechia away in the first game, semi-final, and it's Denmark, and I think it's North Macedonia if whoever comes through that game, and we've got a great chance because that's in Dublin. Imagine for the team the motivation for the first game. We get the final back in Dublin, lads, in 3 or 4 days' time, and we've got a chance.
I'm on the flight.
You would have to. We might never see you. We might never see you again, but.
It will be mental, but imagine that the motivation for the lads, me and Kev qualified in Iran, would you believe? When the final whistle went in Iran, which is thousands of miles away from Ireland, you know, it was a different atmosphere in the dressing room. We weren't allowed alcohol or nothing. It was like all, you know, the different local laws we had to abide by and stuff. And you imagine the scenes back in Ireland, the people were going bananas, like, you know, and we were sort of stuck in the dressing room. Yeah, celebrating, spraying water around the dressing room. But imagine the scenes if lads can qualify in Dublin in front of the, you know, the home support and the city, and it would just be the best feeling ever, wouldn't it?
I think listening to Shay Given was probably your favourite episode so far because, you know, you just got the opportunity to talk about Ireland and their success and Troy Parrott. And in fact, it was labelled the Irish episode.
Well, it was off the back of probably the two greatest back-to-back performances and results ever in Irish soccer history, Irish football history. So that's where it was the perfect timing, I think, to get Shay on that week as well. Obviously, Stevie would have been great if he was there, but it was nice to have Shay on,
One of the other, and we're putting this in the international guest because they don't play for Canada, but Sebastian Berhalter, I'm not sure.
Another Irishman as well, don't forget.
Well, I was going to say
revealed to us,
he revealed to us that he could have played for Ireland, so Kev liked him even more. Kev voted him in for Team of the Year.
Well, he deserved it, and he got in Team of the Year as well, which was quite nice.
But he's classed as an international guest because he plays for the US and is hopefully going to the World Cup with them, even though he's been so great for the Whitecaps this season. So you've been in player of the season form for the Whitecaps. You get the call up for the US. You go to the Gold Cup. Huge part of that with Maurizio Pochettino. What has that whole international experience been like with the US? And how many times a day are you thinking about the possibility of playing in a World Cup?
Yeah, I can't even put it into words how much, you know, that whole experience is meaning to me and it has meant to me. I mean, I've been around it for so long, and it's just such an honor to be there. And, you know, it's not enough for me to be there. You know, I want to keep pushing and want to, you know, keep having an impact on the team and hopefully in a positive way and just, you know, keep pushing myself. And that's where you want to be. You know, you want to be in the best environments with the best players. And, you know, fortunate enough that that's where our national team's at, you know, and I feel like when I go there, I'm being pushed and trying to be better. And for the World Cup, you know, for me, it's something that I don't think about.
Yeah,
and I know it sounds crazy. Yeah,
that's what you know what? Every week's about we ask questions about what do you think around World Cup, and Luke almost is looking over at me as I'm asking the question. We asked Ali Ahmed a few weeks ago about where he sees his future and all these sort of things, and Luke's like looking. He's not going to answer that, so leave him alone.
We had a few weeks ago. Jonathan David was on just after he moved to Juventus, and I said it's a home World Cup coming up. You must think about this. He's like, I haven't thought about it since the last camp. I haven't thought about the World Cup for a month. I'm like, seriously, I'm only going to be calling the games, and I think about it every day. That's why I'm not a proper athlete.
Ali Ahmed said he did. Ali Ahmed said to us,
he at least mentioned.
I am thinking about it a lot, and he was honest in that respect, you know.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. I think different guys look at it different ways. You know, I'm a guy that, you know, I don't like to get ahead of myself, and I have done that before. You know, I tried to make an Olympic team last year, and thinking about that every day didn't help me. You know, it made me a little bit worse. And I can be honest about that. I think that, you know, that was a good lesson for me. And now I'm using that to, you know, for the World Cup. It's like, okay, I'm just taking it one game at a time, a training at a time, a game at a time. And that's all I can do. You know, thoughts are thoughts, and I try not to let them control me. So I just, you know, kind of stay in the moment.
I think I played against his dad a good while ago for Ireland against the US. Yeah, I think I played against his dad over in Boston a long time ago, actually. But
right.
Yeah, but
how many did the US win on that day against your Irish?
No, you know what? I think we drew the game. We drew we had a good side then. Like, I think we were big favourites, I think, going into the game. But
we're Irish too. The Berhalter's Irish too, actually. We both have passports.
Oh, good man. Well, there you go. Yeah. There's my favourite player then now. I'll tell you what, and I voted for you in the MLS Team of the Year as well.
It's been 6 months that we've been meeting once a week, sometimes more than that, in Graham Leggett's to talk about all things football. It's often led to some arguments.
One or two.
Yeah. One or two arguments.
Always know that there's a limit, though. We know that we'd never upset each other, would we? So we know
never.
That.
And plenty of fun along the way as well. Here are some of the best bits.
I think moving to Serie A is a bit disappointing from Jonathan David. I expected him to move to a bigger league. So seeing him in Serie A, while Juventus is a great club, the position that they're in at the minute, finishing 4th place last season and not being at their best for, 4 or 5 years now. I just think that maybe going to a bigger club would have done more for Jonathan David's career.
Jonathan David is a top blank striker in the world. So are we saying he's a top 5, top 10, top 20, top 50? What bracket do you put Jonathan David in?
Look, David's a top striker. David is a niche striker in my mind.
Top what?
All right, I'm going to say.
Can you give me an answer?
I'm going to give you an answer. I'm going to say top 25.
Okay, that's a great shout. But I'm saying to you then, I think he could be top 10.
Right.
I think he could be top 10 from that one, because if I'm looking at Lewandowski and at the age that he's at now, he's got to be ahead of Lewandowski for valuation and everything and what he's going to give you over a 10-year period.
Drafted, MLS, now he's at Celtic and could become a Premier League player.
Yep.
But
No, he's not leaving Celtics.
no, but I'm saying he could.
Yeah.
He might go to a good club.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean that.
You said that?
No.
Is that Luke showing his true colours?
only
So you
winded
said
him up.
Celtic's
No,
not
no,
a
no.
real club? I'm disappointed he's bottled it. I feel like you have bottled it.
I'm not.
You have bottled it.
I'm
you
not.
have. I was enjoying it. The fact is that
Yeah.
everybody knew, and even you knew yourself, deep down you knew that he should have been locked in weeks ago, but now
Yeah.
you've bottled it. And you've kind of gone
I
with the
didn't
pressure.
bottle it.
You have.
I didn't
you have
bottled
bottled
it. It was time.
And you're judging him from a goal this weekend when the keeper...
That was a great goal.
The goalkeeper's
Great goal.
going down.
No,
I mean, I'm
tough
not being
one for the
funny.
goalie.
Luke Wileman could have saved that,
Tough
even
one
with
for
his
the
long
goalie.
throw as a right back. So I mean, no, it should have been done maybe weeks ago. But I wanted you just to
keep it going.
Just
Play the
keep it
villain.
going.
You know me. I don't like to be the villain.
Yeah, you're too honest for your own good.
Canada v Italy.
Can I just say-
best 11 between the two teams. How many Canadian players get in that 11?
Jonathan David gets in Canada's 11. They've struggled for a striker. In midfield, I would probably go Eustachio alongside Inter Milan boy. What's his name? Barella.
So David, Eustachio,
Buchanan, Bombito. Four, maybe 5.
So Davies
I don't know
doesn't.
about
Don't
Buchanan.
Alfonso Davies. Of course, Alfonso
I
Davies.
don't know about Buchanan.
You're not getting 5 of them in that 11, are
Well,
you?
could
Dave
see,
Sinclair or
if
Donnarumma?
Eustachio was Italian... well, come on, that's not even...
We love you, Dane.
Yeah.
We know you what.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what he said this morning? And this is going to be a good one.
You can't
Was he
bring stuff...
contradicting himself?
You can't...
Yeah, stuff that happens in the green room
Yeah.
stays in the
No,
green
because
room.
this is good. Did you or did you not say this morning, Cristiano Ronaldo is not in the top 20 players of all time?
Yes, I said that, yeah. What I was
We were
meaning
just
is,
talking about
I was
comments
talking about it in
and upsetting
relation
people.
to Lionel
Now
Messi.
we've got a whole Portuguese community coming to slaughter
Lionel
us
Messi.
We were
now.
hearing the post-game stuff. Great analysis from you about
That was good.
Messi and whatever,
watch.
and Miami winning. And you said Messi, you know, he goes and wins. He's the greatest of all time. Blah 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 blah. Stevie's like,
I nearly
Stevie's
fell
like,
off my seat. I almost
How-
fell off my seat.
How long?
Did I say he's the greatest?
Yes.
Of all time.
Did I?
How long
Yeah.
have we spent on this
I got
podcast
excited.
arguing
But you know
that
what?
Diego
I'm putting-
Maradona
yeah.
is better than Messi?
I'm going to put it down to fatigue, though.
Final update: race for the Rooster.
Race to Rooster were good.
8.
Good.
What happens, by the way, with all the snow?
No, if you give them heaters, Jake can set the straw on fire.
Ah,
The
right.
thing goes up.
Oh.
This is the...
Cooked chicken.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Look, never mind.
Cooked chicken like Nando's.
Some great moments along the way and some outlandish statements, mostly coming from Kilbane.
a couple for you as well. Celtic not being an enormous club was yours.
But that was a
Celtic being a
joke.
small club, I think, was the terminology.
Small.
Was it? A small
Again, that
club.
wasn't quite right.
Yes.
And that was a joke. And however this was cut, to make me look bad, it wasn't quite in that context. But he did say Jonathan David was a top 10 striker.
Yeah.
You did say Juve was underwhelming, him moving there. He did say that Ronaldo shouldn't be in the top 20 players in the world.
Yeah,
he
that
did
was
say
crazy.
that
No, again, that's
about
taken out of context. Again,
seven Italy players would get into or Canada players would get into Italy starting
Said
11.
4, I think. Four
5.
Four or five.
4 or 5 Canada
Yeah.
players, yeah. 5, I'd go with 5, yeah.
Yeah. So there have been some. There have
Yes.
been some
Outlandish
statements
Yeah.
along the way.
Okay.
And he will die on the hill of Diego Maradona,
Maradona. It's his favourite.
being the greatest of all time above Lionel Messi, even though he
Damn
contradicts himself on many a broadcast
Yeah.
saying Messi is the
well, you've
greatest
got
of
to
all
do that.
time.
Well, we're talking sheer numbers, trophies, all these sort of things that, of course, need to be taken into account. But if I've got one player to win me a game who I really want to see, it's Diego Maradona. Yeah.
If I've got 2 guys who I would want to be with every single week talking about football,
It would be us.
it wouldn't be you guys. Anyway,
Maradona and Messi.
in 6 months' time, we'll be doing this podcast and talking about Canada playing at a home World Cup. So lots to come as we move forward. Hope everyone's enjoyed the best of Park the Bus.